You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Importante na makarelate talaga yung mga tao sa pinagdadaanan for this advocacy to take place, and for this advocacy, importante rin na kaming mga tao, we live with lived experiences, living with this conditions, ay makapagkwento ng mga nangyayari sa amin para mas makarelate ang mga tao tungkol sa mga nangyayari. Like ako, for example, I'm a teacher by profession, as I mentioned earlier, and I've been living with this for 16 years. So makikita nila na siya nakaka-survive siya for 16 years ng may depression. Kaya natin 'tong mag-survive, kaya natin 'to. Meron tayong living proof kumbaga na malalampasan din natin 'to, na mabibigyan natin 'to, and these things are happening, and these things can be quote unquote, sorry for the term, but quote unquote normal. 'Di ba? We can live a normal life.
Mental health has become a more open conversation in recent years. From newsroom to social media, people are finally talking about it. But when it comes to suicide, those conversations can become more complicated because the way we talk about it can hurt or heal. This is Hannah Dasara, and you're listening to Teka Teka, powered by Puma Podcast. Joining us today are Roy Dahil and Richard Son Mojica of Mental Health PH. Roy is the co-founder of the organization, while RS serves as its program manager. Roy and RS are passionate advocates for responsible mental health conversations online, helping make discussions about well-being and suicide prevention more open, safe, and stigma-free. Magandang gabi, Roy and RS. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Can you tell us a bit about Mental Health PH, the mission and the advocacy you've been doing recently, lalo na?
Right. So hi, Hannah. I'm Roy. So I'm one of the co-founders of Mental Health PH. Mental Health PH, we raise awareness on mental health in the Philippines. So we have the 3S framework where we emphasize or raise awareness on the level of self, society, and system. So on the level of self, we create content in order to empower individuals to take care of themselves, recognize the importance of mental health, and also understand mental health in a more laymanized and non-technical concepts. In the level of society, we also try to educate communities. So we go to schools, workplaces, we conduct online webinars in order to raise awareness collectively. And also, we advocate for systemic changes. So we partner with different government and international organizations in order to institutionalize certain policies in order to protect mental health in the Philippines. We believe that it has to be this three-layered approach. We can't just promote mental health in the level of self. We have to make sure that the community are able to understand it, and we also have to make sure that there are policies in place. We do this through our 3O approach, the online, on-ground, and onward. So for online, we're very, very, very visible on social media. So we try to maximize Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now even TikTok and Bigo Live, and hopefully now on podcasts, we're able to reach in order to raise awareness on mental health. And we started online, but eventually, because of the a lot of traction and support, we're able to organize events on the on-ground level. So we're able to organize events in coffee shops, in schools, with the help of our volunteers and different partners. And for Onward, we make sure that we strengthen our events through memorandum of understanding, partnerships, and collaborations with different organizations. So we are in the digital space, and as well as now trying to navigate as well the physical spaces just to raise awareness and promote mental health in the Philippines.
You talked about being in the digital and now physical space as well. I believe RS, you were the program director for this campaign in Twitter, if I'm not sure. Twitter pa talaga, matanda na. Sa X pala. Nahahalata
Next
yung
na
edad
siya
ko.
ngayon.
Oo, X pala, sa X. So, and now you're doing physical. Are you in that, are you hands-on with the events as well? And can you tell us the difference in how you're handling mental health PH program RS sa X and sa
X, correct.
physical?
So,
X na.
what we're doing in X or Twitter before is Usap Tayo. Usap Tayo is a campaign that we launched years ago. I think it's in the 7th year or so, if I'm not mistaken. So, this Usap Tayo is an online event that aims to promote mental health awareness and to zero. That's why it's happening every zeros of the month, 10th, 20th, and 30th at 7 p.m. on X or Twitter. It aims to zero in the stigma on mental health and suicide in the Philippines and in the Philippines primarily. So we are doing this event on Twitter or X every zeros nga. And these events are, we are talking about certain different topics on mental health and even current events at aligned on our mental health as well.
The succeeding section will mention self-harm and suicide that might be triggering or difficult to listen to. It's okay to take a deep breath, skip, or stop listening. Keeping you safe is our top priority.
So, you were talking about ito na nga yung how you're trying to zero suicide dito sa ating bansa through awareness and programs and campaigns like that. But I believe we had a previous episode where we talked to a psychiatrist and she mentioned that suicide rate sa atin ngayon talaga ang taas. And then sadly, after we released that episode, I think a week or 2 weeks later, nangyari yung Eman Atienza, nangyari yon and pumutok siya sobra sa news, di ba? From your perspective, yung the way that media and traditional media, press, and also content creators has handled all this situation, what is your take on that? And is it on the healthy side? Has it helped or has it not helped everyone with the way it was being handled?
How does media right now cover these things, especially traditional media? No, so we understand that the way media covers suicide and mental health has a very, very powerful effect. Right, very, very powerful effect on public perception and the way people understand and even reflect on these issues, especially suicide and mental health. No, so we need to have sensible, sensitive, and responsible, and even, and of course, factual reporting that can break the stigma. And to break the stigma, we need to help. We need to encourage help-seeking behavior, and we sometimes we have to oftentimes we have to humanize also those experiencing mental health challenges. Media, especially in the past years, no, they are even sensationalizing these things, and sensationalizing the news can lead to something na hindi maganda, definitely, when we sensationalize these things, and even those yung mga graphic coverage pa, it can perpetuate misconceptions, and we do not want to normalize those kinds of behaviors. We do not want to normalize those kinds of behaviors and or discourage individuals from reaching out for whatever support they need, right? So, having these things, media has the power to either reinforce the silence and shame, or better promote empathy and awareness on these things. So, ang powerful ng media, ang bigat ng binibigay, ang powerful ng media natin, and we have to use media purposefully and to ensure that media is that we are delivering the correct message.
So just to emphasize Aura's point, so media is a double-edged sword. So in certain cases that someone dies by suicide, it could have a positive or negative effect. The negative effect, if media could not be able to package appropriately or apply the responsible way of reporting it, it could actually promote and like plant an idea to someone else who's also struggling in the dark to attempt and to also have that kind of like push to, oh, okay, this someone did it, then maybe I'll try to do it as well. So it's been proven by studies that how media is being packaged, how suicide is being packaged by media have has a significant effect on an individual to have that idea of doing it. So there are a lot of guidelines, and that's also one that we are promoting, the appropriate, ethical, responsible reporting of suicide in the media, because it could have negative effect and could actually promote as well to other individuals. You never know who gets the message, 'di ba? So minsan may makakarinig ng balita na to, and then if package responsibility, very specific example, Hannah, if it's being romanticized and in the news, for example, they provide the method on how the the person died of suicide, it could actually plant an idea to someone else. Okay, I could also try that one. So that's very important that media, since it's not relevant to the news, how the person died, the method of suicide, you should actually eliminate that, because it could promote to other people how to do it. And studies shows that on the positive end of that, for media, it could actually be used to promote certain positive behaviors. So if we package the death of suicide correctly, responsibly, by providing, for example, instead of highlighting the death of suicide, we highlight the different support systems that could be available. We promote good behaviors like reaching out. We somehow use not necessarily use, but ride on the news on someone's death by promoting the hotlines that are available, the help-seeking behaviors that are available. We could actually shift that mindset of someone who gets to read that news to highlight on that point that, okay, there are crisis hotlines where I can do this. And then that suicide is a complex thing. It's not like a cause and effect that because this thing happened, that's why. It's oftentimes media would package it like that this person dies by suicide because of the love life, because of she failed the exam, etc. If you package it like that, it would be very irresponsible and disservice, because you have to understand that it's a complex issue. There are biological, psychological, and social factors that triggered that death. So you also have to highlight that and focus on the recovery, focus on planting hope, because you'll never know sino yung makakarinig ng balita na to. And kung mag-land ito to someone na may pinagdadaanan din, you might actually be pushing that person to also do a negative behavior. And, in worst case scenarios, you might also like promote that person to also do harm to himself. So it's really a double-edged sword. And what I really want to do here is to really highlight what should be done, how should it be packaged, how news agencies will have to package media so that it will do more harm, more benefit than harm to people.
Yeah. Now, with what Troy was saying tungkol dun sa naro-romanticize yung suicide and yung mga mental health issues. I remember when I was younger, I think probably high school. So this will date me again. I watched I watched this film. Hindi ko na lang sasabihin kung ano kasi baka ma-curious pa yung mga bata. With Winona Ryder in it. And that film really, I think, didn't traumatize, but left a deep, impact on me na until ngayon, paminsan napapaisip pa rin ako sa kanya. So, in there, they showed, how one of her friends really, parang, yun nga, died by suicide. And then sa background, yung music was like, "Why does the sun go on shining?" So parang, alam mo yun, tapos parang malulungkot ka. And then, I realize now that I am much older and I understand na ang laki nga pala ng effect nun sa thinking natin, that it might have increased my ideation when I was younger. And it didn't actually help. Yes, it helped in a sense that I was able to relate that I was feeling this tortured thing, drama inside of me, but it wasn't drama. And I think there was a point where Winona Ryder said that, I feel like parang ano lang 'to, hindi totoo yung mga nararamdaman ko. Yun pa okay lang kasi na-affirm ka. But the portrayal of suicide there, talagang sobra siyang nag-leave ng mark sa'kin. So, but these days makikita natin sa movies, everywhere, ibang klase na talaga. It's not just suicide, violence, every kind of mental health issue and paminsan, hindi pala paminsan, it's everywhere yung pagka-portray and hindi nga okay. And then what you were talking about, empathy pa, I'm really, really triggered about the way a lot of people are talking about the Atienzas. And I didn't really want to talk about it sana. Pero nakita ko lang kanina na there are some people who are saying that that's why you should spend time with your kids because she was feeling alone and ganyan. Okay, you can talk about that, but then to put a quote from Eman and then Kuya Kim side by side sa picture and then that behind it, what's your take on that? The way it's being spread everywhere now as precautionary tale.
Yeah. I think sa ngayon ang kalabanan natin is mostly social media. Okay, I have been monitoring news agencies, at least online news agencies in terms of yung the prominent, if we may say so, no, the prominent news agencies that we have. I have been monitoring it for years because I'm also a teacher. Gumagawa kami ng case studies about this every year about the new suicide reporting on media and following the WHO and the DOH guidelines, comparing it to that. We are finding less and lesser news about wrong suicide reporting. Pero ang kalaban na natin ngayon is, I think, more of social media. Meaning that social media is the one who's being misinformed. I would say misinformed about these things, that on how to do this suicide reporting, how to properly bring light to these issues and all these things. So with your question on regarding this, the responsible use, I think it's important that we have to always bring up the issue and in a way that we are being more responsible and teaching these people on how to report it properly, on how to parang paano natin siya ikukwento ng mas tama, ng mas may pag-asa.
Maybe to build on that, I think what's missing in how people would package the story of Eman is that it's a complex issue. So it's not just this thing happened. It's not just because they would say they would claim that the family did this, etc., etc. It's a lot of things. It's not just one thing that triggered what happened, and we need to really not oversimplify it to people. We have to understand that there are a lot of things that happened, that caused, and that's just one scenario. So I think it's unfair if it's like being placed like that na side by side, ayan, and then also imagine the emotional turmoil to also the parents, right, na
Yes.
namatayan na nga, and then parang sila pa yung biniblame ng people. Parang the highlight is on them na parang, sobrang mali ng pinagagawa mo, etc. etc. So parang, I think it lacks empathy both on the parang family members and, yung mga naiwan, we call them suicide survivors, na sila rin ay may pinagdadaanan and they're still grieving. And tingin nyo ba yung words na yon, yung how you package it, could help those family? So instead of parang focusing on that, maybe we can focus on unpacking the complexities of suicide and highlight that there are other people who might also be experiencing the same that needs the support na pwede natin ma-highlight or ma-maximize with how we package the news. Yan. Artist?
Aris, you had
Yeah. One thing regarding this Eman Atienza case, din, it was, I think one thing that we have to remember as well is that we have to respect din yung family na in a way that the family never disclosed the cause of death. Actually, it was just a report. Well, I'm not saying it's true or not, but it's a matter of respecting the family because they never disclosed the cause of death of of Eman, diba? So siguro we have to respect also these things, and even the prominent news agencies, they never talked about it as well as respect to the family. So again, babalik tayo sa social media and sa other forms of media na pinag-uusapan itong na it's not, I don't want to call it speculations, but I think a little bit or less compassionate, if we may say so, to the family of Emma Nachenza, di ba? So I think we have to respect that as well because hindi nga nila dinisclose. So since hindi nila dinisclose, baka ayaw nilang pag-usapan yung and they want to focus on something else. And in ethical media reporting, we have to respect the grieving family in terms of if they don't want to talk about it, we have to respect that and we have to give it to them.
I just want to go back a little bit. Yung kanina sinabi nyo na talking about the method used could, of course, give those who don't have that many ideas an idea on what to do, right?
So WHO has that in WHO they have a resource for media professionals on preventing suicide. It was revised in 2023. So one of the there are do's and don'ts, and one of the don'ts there is not to describe the method of suicide itself because yun nga, bukod sa copycat suicide, there might be in likelihood of yung vulnerability ng tao na makikita nila ito. But whenever that you have to mention if it is rare or unusual, you have to be very cautious about it. And when we say being cautious about it, we have to be very careful by not disclosing where it happened, by not disclosing how exactly it happened. You just mention, but as the key thing here is not to mention kung paano talaga yung eksakto na ginawa dito sa suicide, the exact method itself.
Siguro, Hannah, emphasize lang natin na when we say responsible reporting of suicide does not mean na hindi na tayo magre-report ng any suicide. So we can talk about suicide. We can talk the causes nito. We can talk that this is happening. But there are certain layers and guidelines that we have to follow when we want to talk about these stories. So like, for example, when we want to, these are mga specific examples na mas ma-flesh out pa natin later. But for example, if you want to talk, you want to parang release a news about someone died by suicide, before doing it, you have to put trigger warnings so that if there are people na wala pa sa kahandaan makarinig or maka-receive ng mga ganitong kwento, they can skip it kasi meron ng parang disclaimer na okay, ito ay may mga mentions ng mga ganitong klaseng details. And then when you go to the story, there are also parang guidelines on how you should frame it. So do not frame it like yun nga, oversimplified, romanticized, etc., etc. And then at the end of the story, you also have to mention or encourage help-seeking behaviors. Kasi some people might continue reading it kahit na pinagdadaanan out of curiosity, etc., etc. And then dapat yun yung huling mensahe na makukuha nila. Napakahalaga na hindi mo babanggitin yung method of suicide. Kasi the more detail na sinasabi mo, the more na nagbibigay ng instructions kung paano siya gagayahin ng iba. And before, akala ko parang concept lang to na parang pininiwalaan ko lang. Until na someone na kakilala ko na parang nag-mention when tinanong ko siya kung parang anong somehow pinanggalingan, etc., etc. And then nabanggit niya na ginawa niya yun kasi narinig niya yung details from the news kung paano ginawa ng iba. So, dahil naisip niya na, ay okay, ganun lang pala siya ginagawa, try ko nga rin gawin. So, parang nakuha ko siya directly from one person. So, parang it affirms na, oo, nangyayari talaga siya. And meron talaga na parang tao na dahil nasa ganong estado sila, yung mga ganang klaseng information na dinidisclose from the media could actually parang contribute and give instructions kung paano siya gagawin. Kaya, hindi natin alam kung saan maglaland yung news mo. So, mahalagang hindi mo siya babanggitin kasi baka ikaw pa yung bigay ng manual kung paano niya gagawin yung nasa isip niya kung hindi niya pa alam kung paano siya gawin. Yeah.
And also, you know what, it like what building upon what Roy said, no, when people are mentioning especially the site or the location of the suicide itself, di ba, it happened, there was this mall somewhere in Metro Manila wherein they had multiple uh incidents. They had multiple incidents and same method used because news reports have been mentioning it over and over again. This happened years ago, maybe around 10 years ago or so. But then it's really a proof that mentioning the method, mentioning the site and the location, parang nagiging attraction siya for other people. Remember in Japan, for example, they have this certain area for these things, right? So it doesn't promote help-seeking behavior. It doesn't promote anything that we promote about suicide prevention. So it becomes a tourist destination for some, right? So it's nothing that we have to be proud of or we should be celebrating of. That's why it's very important not to mention all these things, and even the language that we use in doing in reporting this we should be very careful as well.
I totally get that. I totally agree. So parang yun nga yung sinasabi mo. So yung mga may kaugnay dito siguro kaya yung may mga spots around the world na may certain bridges na sikat for those things. Talagang yun yung mga places na pinupuntahan kasi kahit na before media pa, yun yung alam ng mga tao. So dun sila pumupunta for some reason, no? Sa community work nyo and everything you've done with mental health PH, what have you seen na pinaka-effective or hindi naman effective strategies and programs that you have seen that has helped reduce stigma and even not just stigma but yung understanding and I don't know, maybe even the numbers, but right now we don't see the numbers, but has been helpful.
Yes. So we've been in this advocacy space for 9 years, going 10 the next year, April. And I think isang pinaka-important learning namin is that mas nagiging ramdam ng tao yung konsepto ng mental health at mas nauunawaan nila yung konsepto ng mental health kung nanggagaling ito sa kwento ng totoong taong nakaranas nito. Na pagkukwento na parang nagkakaroon siya ng face, nagkakaroon siya ng buhay, na kasi pag gina-explain mo yung mental health, yung depression, anxiety, ano technical concept, parang ang layo niya, Pero kung ina-explain mo siya na or pinapakita mo yung persons ang tawag namin dito is persons with lived experience. So, parang persons with depression, persons with anxiety, persons with bipolar. Pag sila yung nagkukwento ng buhay nila, mas nakaka-connect yung tao at mas naiintindihan nila at mas nabe-break yung stigma na, ay, akala ko before yung person with depression, yung mga naka-black lang, may mga ganun, di ba? Or, ay, akala ko yung mga persons with depression, yung mga may eye bags, etc. etc. Pero, eto, merong person sa harap ko na nakakapagtrabaho, nakakapag-aral ng mabuti, nakakapag-advocate ng mental health na may depression din. So, okay, it's something pala na pwede, no? Na yung dalawang konsepto nag-i-exist na you're able to do something to the community and also be living with depression ay pwedeng mag-coexist. Hindi pala sila like black and white. Pag may depression ka, okay, dapat wala ka nang ginagawa. Nasa kwarto ka lang, nakaitim, may eye bags, ganun. Pwede pala siyang hindi. Pwede pala siyang nagtatrabaho ka normally. And pwede din pala na parang, at nangyayari din pala na parang may mga taong sobrang masayahin, sobrang ang happy on the inside, pero may pinagdadaanan. And anong pwede kong gawin para makausap at makakonect doon sa person na yun? So parang, we call that campaign yung Voices of Hope natin. And parang we really bank on that. Kasi napakahalaga at parang impactful ng pagbibigay ng kwento at pagbibigay ng mukha sa mental health. Yes, we discuss then yung mga concepts like the technical concept what's mental health, the biopsychosocial model, etc. etc. Pero pinapasukan namin ng totoong kwento ng mga tao kasi majority din actually sa mga volunteers namin, sa mga core team namin ay mga persons living with mental health conditions and napakalaking bagay na sila mismo yung nagkukwento at pinagdadaanan kasi it really debunks all the stigma attached on mental illness na ito ay ganito or oversimplified. Yes, RS.
Yeah. Dagdag ko lang, no. So, yung sa kinukwento ni Roy kanina sa Voices of Hope, yung We Have the 40 Seconds of Hope, maraming ginagawa pa bukod doon si Mental Health PH. And, the 40 Seconds of Hope, for example, no, we even have celebrities talk about their experiences of depression or of anxiety so that people can relate to it. Importante na makarelate talaga yung mga tao sa pinagdadaanan for this advocacy to take place. And for this advocacy, importante rin na kaming mga tao, we live with lived experiences, living with this conditions, ay makapagkwento ng mga nangyayari sa amin para mas makarelate ang mga tao tungkol sa mga nangyayari. Like ako, for example, I'm a teacher by profession, as I mentioned earlier, and I've been living with this for 16 years. So makikita nila na siya nakaka-survive siya for 16 years ng may depression. Kaya natin 'to mag-survive, kaya natin to. Meron tayong living proof kumbaga na malalampasan din natin 'to, na mabibigyan natin 'to, and these things are happening, and these things can be quote unquote, sorry for the term, but quote unquote normal. Really ba? We can live a normal life.
So, yung Voices of Hope, just people speaking up about their lived experiences, already gives hope to others, or at least in a way that they know that they're not alone. And then maybe those around the people who are experiencing mental health issues or have things like bipolar disorder and chronic depression would know then na may hope for their loved ones. Because one thing that isn't often as much talked about with mental health issues, and I want to go there, is how much it affects those living with mental health conditions, diba? So I think it's a slight disservice to these people because they're the ones who are able to support us. They're the ones who are able to really help us get through. Do you do any work or have any programs to help shore up those people?
Yes. So currently, yung mga campaigns namin early on the general public, medyo may bias in a way sa youth kasi medyo dun kami, most ng mga people in social media are the younger generation. And then, isa din yan sa mga parang recurring na mga questions. Alam ko na pick up ko talaga ito sa isang talk before na parang may nagtanong na parang, sir, paano po yun? Kasi parang dito sa school, dahil nga sa, dahil dito sa talk na to, naunawaan ko yung mental health. Mas nagkaroon ako ng iba pang parang perspective on mental health. Pero paano po yun pag uwi ko sa bahay? Kasi yung mga parents ko, hindi naman nila naiintindihan in a way. So parang it's really a reality, no? And naging challenge talaga din siya nung pandemic na kung saan we are forced din talaga to stay at home too. So to some people, parang stay at home, di nila feel safe, parang hindi sila makapag-express na maayos, etc. So napaka challenging. And I think that's a real fact na may mga ganyan talagang pangyayari. So currently, yung mga efforts namin really are on reaching out and parang raising awareness on doing talks with different sectors in the workplace, for example. But siguro, to be honest, in the level of parang family talaga, na parang tailored to the family. Currently, hindi pa namin yan na-frame or hindi pa kami umaabot doon. Ang mas hinahanda namin is yung person mismo. But we recognize na merong kailangan na ganyang klaseng parang service din na kailangan gawin na kailangan din natin i-align sa family. So slowly, siguro, through the awareness, nare-reach din natin yung parang the family members.
Yun nga, that's what I'm going to say as well, no? Yung sa isang conversation namin sa Usap Tayo, lumabas din yung idea na nung panahon na sinasabi na sana nung panahon ng mga magulang natin, meron ng usapan tungkol sa mental health para mas maging aware sila. And I think there was this time, we were able to reach out also to indirectly to parents as well, like what Roy was mentioning. Pero nung sa Usap Tayo conversation, when we used to have the spaces, if you know what Twitter Space or X Spaces is. So, meron na mga na makikinig dati ng mga magulang din, through the children siguro and all. And there was this tweet, I remember na, salamat po, something like that na, I remember that tweet na sinasabi na, I was able to understand the mental health of these people, of other people, or may mga ganun na conversations. And I think through those things, we were able to reach out to a greater number of people as well. And hopefully, kami nga dito sa Mental Health PH, we are planning also to have our own podcast. Diba? So hopefully pag nagkaroon din kami ng podcast, we will be able to reach out to more people, especially to yun nga, sabi mo nga, maybe we can reach out to parents, to other people, to a more, I don't want to use the term older generation, but I would like to say siguro to other generations. Yun na lang siguro, other generations.
I'm glad to see organizations like Mental Health PH really reaching out, not just to the youth and slowly branching out, no? So ngayon yung tanong ko naman, since we're talking podcasts already and your future plans, what changes and collaborations do you actually want to see between press, content creators?
I think we had this event last October, which is changing the narratives, no? We were able to, some press people attended this, students, and even communication and psychology students, and even some content creators also attended the event, in a way that we are reaching out to them and informing them or educating them on how to do ethical media reporting. And I think ethical media reporting in terms of reporting on mental health, portraying mental health, reporting on suicide, portraying suicide, on these things. I think that's very important that we were able to collaborate to educate them, and in one way or another collaborate with them. Also, we would like to collaborate further with other, especially content creators, to spread more awareness on mental health on our mental health advocacy. Would like to collaborate further with podcasters. If you know from some podcasters, maybe we can collaborate with them also to spread more awareness and to spread the advocacy itself, diba? Yes, Roy.
Yeah, actually, and just to have that conversations with them and collaboration na kung saan, so first, sana mas ma-promote natin yung proper and responsible and ethical reporting on suicide kasi ang laking power yung nahawakan ng ating mga journalists, content creators, and even podcasters, 'di ba? Kasi medyo ito na rin yung parang medium ngayon to communicate, to reach people. So parang kung ma-maximize natin yun na ibabahagi natin yung mga ganitong klaseng impormasyon sa language at sa medium na kung saan mas marami yung yung marireach natin. Laking tulong nun in the mental health advocacy space, hindi lang sa pag-raise ng awareness, but also, di natin alam, baka may matouch tayong someone na nandun sa dark place, and because of our podcast, because of the messages, because of the parang messages na ginawa ng content creator, ay malilid pa natin, mapopromote natin yung help-seeking behavior. Hindi natin alam, baka it will not only parang change people's lives, but it could sometimes actually literally save someone's life. So I'm so excited to have that conversations with journalists, creators, and even podcasters. Kasi yun nga, napaka-powerful na medium na to. And siguro, emphasize ko lang din na yung mga ganitong klaseng collaborations, hindi lang din parang palabas lang, outward. Pwede din kasi ito paloob, papunta sa journalists, creators, and even podcasters. Kasi parang yung pagkukwento ng ganitong klaseng mga news ay for sure could also parang trigger some strong emotions din sa inyo. So parang gusto lang din natin parang magkaroon ng space na kung saan iniintindi din natin yung mga journalists, creators, and podcasters natin. Paano ba nila alagaan yung sarili nila if they are handling or parang they're writing constantly ng mga ganitong klaseng story. Kasi baka hindi rin yun na pick up or natitignan. So, yun. Baka pwede rin natin yan gawin as part of the collaborations.
Yes, RS?
Dagdag ko lang, no, actually yung sinasabi ni Roy, that's part of the WHO resource, no, that we have to recognize that media professionals themselves, or like you, for example, may be affected when covering about suicide. So, ang sinasabi sa WHO resource is that media organizations are obliged to ensure necessary support. So, that's something that we can also talk about and, raise awareness of. Baka yung media organization ay kailangan ng tulong in terms of coming up with all these mental health support that they can also give to the employees while covering mental health related issues and mental health related stories, diba? So that's one thing that we can also come up with. And yun nga, maganda. We are very much excited. Ulitin ko lang na we're very much excited to collaborate with content creators, podcasters, and other media practitioners to help raise awareness and to promote the advocacy that we have.
So yeah, alam nyo, that's so true yung need ng support for people, lalo na nasa media. I'm thinking even if they're not really talking about mental health topics, sobrang stressful kaya ng trabaho nila. You have to look at the news every day. I mean, they're the one who's in the forefront of news, looking at all these negative things happening every day. And we know the news. Even if there's a lot of positive things happening every day, mas nare-report syempre yung mga negative kasi yung nag-draw ng attention natin. At the same time, there are the issues that need to be highlighted so that they can be solved, right? You have to highlight the problems. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people in media actually need help. So sana magkaroon nga ng mga ganyang programs within media organizations. So maybe to wrap up, what's the one thing you want for them to take home from this conversation?
So I think what do we want them to take away from this conversation? I would go with the hashtag change the narratives. Change the narrative. Our theme for this year's mental health day. And I think we have to help change the narrative in telling stories about suicide, especially with the social media, especially in social media right now. We have to change the narrative in a way that we can tell more positive stories. We can tell more stories of hope. We can tell more stories that will encourage people to do, for example, help seeking behavior. We need to encourage those things for other people, and to not just to tell these stories, but also to spread, to be more compassionate and be more empathetic in dealing with stories that we encounter every day in social media especially.
And you, Roy, ano yung
Take home message.
message?
Oo. Siguro sa akin, just want a reminder, a friendly reminder that mental health is real. Even if often it doesn't have physical manifestation, parang proof to other people na nangyayari siya. Mental health is real. Whatever you're feeling is valid. Hindi yan kaartehan, may pinanggagalingan yan. And if you're hearing many times in your life, a lot of people saying to you na artehan lang yan, nasa utak mo lang yan, etc., etc., I think the universe led you to this podcast to remind you na may mga taong naniniwala sa'yo. May mga taong naniniwala na ang mental health ay mahalaga at ang pag-aalaga sa ating mental health ay napakahalaga. So, kung ikaw man ay nasa parang dark place ngayon na may pinagdadaanan, know that you can always reach out. And there are people out there fighting for you and believing in you.
That's such a nice way to end this. So I'd like to thank you once again, Roy and RS. Hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you for joining us. Once again, this is Hannah Tasara for Teka Teka, powered by Puma Podcast. And if you like the way we do our conversations, please follow us on our socials, and we'll drop the links to Mental Health PH on our show notes so that you can support their advocacy. And of course, if you need any help, please do reach out and educate yourself. Know your love.